Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday, May 7th Finance Committee meeting. With our roll call, it looks like we have all members present with the exception of Vice Chair Friedrich. We wish him well in the fields today. Moving right along, since we have enough folks to conduct business, takes us to our consent agenda. Consent agenda this evening is made up of the approval of minutes from April 9th regular meeting, as well as the recommended approval of bills and transfers, if any, to the county board. Those invoices are totaling $1,017,035.39. Might I have a motion to put the consent agenda on the floor, please? I have a motion by member Roseman Mendoza and a second by member Leffler. Comments or questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none, we carry through and put our consent agenda to the vote. For the approval of minutes and recommended approval of bills and transfers, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 3, appearance by members of the public or county employees. Do we have any, Administrator Taylor?
Chair Lehman, we have no requests this evening.
With no requests this evening, that carries us to number 4, departmental matters. This is where we would normally welcome the County Clerk's Department. The County Clerk's Department has no items to be presented for action this evening. They do have the monthly reports for recording, pages 3 through 9. Were there any additional notes or information that we should know from the County Clerk's Department today?
Nothing that I've received.
Awesome. Moving right along to item number B. Welcome, Mr. Jorzak, our Supervisor of Assessments. It looks like you've got one item to be presented for action this evening, item number 4B1A. That's a request approval of a resolution amending the funded full-time equivalent positions resolution for 2025 for Fund 001, Department 0049, Assessment Office. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion, please? We have a motion by member Farley, and it looks like a second by member Fagan. Mr. Jorzak, over to you, please.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Nope, we're good. Just kidding.
Thank you so much, Chair Lehman. I appreciate the opportunity, as always, to come speak for you tonight. This is a request to amend our staffing plan. We are currently in the midst of a big transition. We're starting the process of a big transition in my office. I have 7 full-time employees, including myself, and I am getting ready within the next year to potentially lose 3 of those employees, combined 2/3 of a century of experience in this office that we're trying to plan for their departure. And on top of that, I just yesterday we had our current incumbent GIS specialist go on to he accepted a new position with the town of Normal, so my GIS spot is vacant. So as part of that transition, my deputy Connie and I have been working on our plan to help modernize what we expect our office to look like in the future. One of those changes is transitioning the GIS specialist position that we currently have and turning that position into a GIS supervisor role. Because of the changes in GIS technology and what we expect out of our GIS positions within our office, we really see this as an opportunity to bring in a top qualified individual. This individual, as part of our plan, will take on some of the additional roles within the office that are currently being done by our incredibly chronically overworked staff assessor, as well as pick up the ball on some of the things that Mr. Schuster, who is my very well respected and appreciated GIS specialist, was doing some of the projects that he did. So this is one piece of that plan. What we're doing is we're hoping to amend our staffing to bring this GIS supervisor position on in beginning here in the very immediate future. So that's what this motion is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jorzak. Any comments or questions for Mr. Jorzak on this item? Mr. Fagan.
Yeah, thank you. Do you foresee the need for reading through the materials that you anticipate a supervisor and a specialist in the future? Do do you foresee that there would be plenty of work for the both of them to do?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So what our plan is to transition some of the work, like I said, that is currently being done by our staff assessor to this new GIS specialist role, and then some of that work, or all of that work, a good portion of the work that the specialist is doing can be done by the position immediately below. This will then allow the GIS supervisor position to do some more of the value-added stuff that we really want our GIS position to be able to do. The future of valuation is in mapping, in how we relate property value to physical geospatial location, and how we portray that to the public. And so we want to have an incumbent in that place who can really take the ball and create some new projects and items for emphasis.
Thank you. Not being familiar with the GIS field, is there a pool of potential supervisors out there, do you feel, that you would be able to tap into?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The GIS position has been posted already because we have an immediate need to fill Josh's role. The quality and caliber of candidates that we're getting as part of this application process, frankly, makes me blush for how qualified some of these individuals are. We've got some really, really talented people who are looking at this position.
Any additional comments or questions? I will say thank you in advance for the incredible planning that you're doing, knowing that you've got some vacancies on the happy side. Always wonderful to be able to celebrate future retirements and like that, but always being able to do so with a great plan. So it sounds like you certainly do have a good forward motion in place. So thank you for that. Seeing no other comments or questions, let's go ahead and put number 4B1A to a vote. That's the request approval of a resolution amending the funded full-time equivalent position for Resolution 2025 for Fund 0001, Department 0049, Assessment Office. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Mr. Jorsak, 4B2A gives you that opportunity to share anything about your reports.
Well, thank you very much. This is just a continuation of the monthly report that I submit to you every month. Just an update on where we are with the office. You can see we've got 13 sets of books in for the 2025 assessment year, which is January 1st, 2025 valuation date. Since the time that we put this report together, all but one of those townships is ready to go, ready for the next step. So we anticipate more books here in the near future. That's where we are in the 2025 valuation. We also received from the Department of Revenue the 2026 farmland values. So we are having our 2025 Farmland Assessment Review Committee. It looks like we've got it scheduled for May 27th at 10 a.m. in our office. So if you want to come attend, to be completely honest with you, we don't have a lot of control over what the farmland assessments are. It says that we approve the farmland assessments, but it's pretty much a foregone conclusion what those numbers are going to be. I like to take that opportunity to talk with my Farmland Assessment Committee members, just sort of about some of the changes that have taken place in the farmland sphere, what we're looking at, what the impacts of those things are going to be, and then answer any questions that they have. It's a meeting that's open to the public, so if you would like to come and be a part of that discussion, we obviously welcome anybody in here to come and join us.
Additional comments or questions from Mr. Jorsak? Monthly report. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Moving right along to item number 4C, 1A and B, where we welcome our County Treasurer, Ms. McNeil. 4C, 1A is the request approval of a resolution authorizing the County Board Chair to assign mobile home tax sale certificate of purchase. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? We have a motion by Member Fagan and a second by Member Farley. Ms. McNeil, any information that you'd be willing to share on this item?
This is standard trustee item. Assignment is the result of an individual wanting to take on ownership. so the property is moving to another individual. All in all, it's another parcel in the trustee program that we're happy to see go to a new owner.
Comments or questions from the committee? Seeing none, 4C1A, request approval of the resolution authorizing the county board chair to assign the mobile home tax sale certificate of purchase. Please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. 4C1B is the accept and place on file the county treasurer's monthly financial reports. Might I have a motion? Motion by member Roseman Mendoza and a second by member Leffler. Ms. McNeil would love to hear all about the monthly reports.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
for the month of April, overall, our receipts are only down by 17,000 compared to last year. However, one of the biggest categories there was some change in is the local use. Illinois Department of Revenue, when I reached out to them, they indicated that due to some shifting in the way in which they distribute, that is part of our county-wide sales tax distribution. However, we have an appointment or a meeting with Illinois Department of Revenue next week at my ICTA conference where they're going to go into a lot more detail about that. So we're going to see those numbers be substantially less than the prior year, but we should be picking that up in other categories. PPRT is down. That was communicated a year ago that we were going to be getting less PPRT, and it's continued to follow that trend. Overall, year to date, in 2025, we have $5,413,000 compared to $5,900,000. So it is down by $487,000. Looking at budget right now, we are at about $318,260 under budget. Hopefully next month I'll have more information on what Illinois Department of Revenue expects to happen, not only with local use, but maybe an idea of what they think is going to happen with PPRT as well once we get into that new state fiscal year that starts in July. So moving on to the shared sales tax. Those numbers for 25 are currently we're 88,129 over 24. That's kind of like the sales tax. It's based off of that percentage that's coming from the town of Normal and City of Bloomington. So we are currently up. And then fund equity in that fund, of course, the fund does not just house the shared sales tax. There are grants that run through that now. But overall fund equity is $19.5 million. Property tax revenue, the property tax bills were released, and we are well underway in collecting. The county's distributions will be based off of the levy of $49,324,000. Next time I come in here, obviously you'll start seeing numbers populate this report. And then the motor fuel summary is there as well. Any questions on this document? Moving on to the cash and investment report. Overall, right now we have 113 million. The money markets, the Illinois Fund's money markets, that's where we have the bulk of our money parked. We're still seeing treasury rates come in the 3 to 4% range, but that Illinois Funds money market, pleased to see that it went from 4.436 to 4.46. So it changed just ever so slightly to positive. But anyway, we didn't lose any ground. The interest accrued through 4/30 is $1,031,000. However, that does not reflect 4 full months of interest, because naturally when we get those bank statements for April, we're still reconciling it. So it's just what I have accrued as of this date. So for 2025, do I expect to earn $5.3 million in interest like we did in 2024? No. But I think we're going to be more around the 2023 figure. One of the things that we don't have is the level of ARPA money that we had in 2023 or 2024, but we also aren't getting the rates like we were getting in 2024. Our rates are more down into the 3 and lower 4 range. But during the month of May, we have a lot of treasuries coming due, and we'll see where those rates are. And also during the month of May and June, we're going to be pulling in that first installment. That'll give us more money to put out, or we would put out more long-term for cash flow. Any questions on that report? The next document is it the nursing home? Nursing home. First quarter from the nursing home. The nursing home key sources of revenue, you can see there. I've got a new category that Mr. Wiley wanted broke out, be the VA. 889,000 accrued revenue for the month of March. So that I'm surprised I don't have a total. I should have had like another line there, but anyway, I'm sorry. And down below in section 3, you'll see the actual total accrued revenue. This includes not only their primary sources, but a few other sources of revenue that the nursing home receives. But through the month of March, $2,613,000. Expenses, $2,598,000. So they're 15,518 to the good for the first quarter. The receivable, it is down slightly compared to the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, they started with a receivable of $5,166,000. It's down to $4,859,000. So the nursing home is making some slight movement there. The cash still remains a negative. We started out the year with $1,491,000 negative in cash. We are currently at $1,635,000 negative in cash. The beginning balance fund equity started the year with $929,000. We're currently at $944,000. That's basically where that $15,000 there where revenues exceeded expenses. Reserve for bad debt, the accounting auditor still has not adjusted my 2024 balance, so it's still at $2,872,000 that's been set aside for potential bad debt on that outstanding receivable of $4,859,000. So, any questions? Moving on to the Blue Cross Blue Shield summary. Again, this is our self-insured plan for health insurance for all county employees. The 2025 total is currently $2.7,284,000 above 2024 at this point in time. And then, I won't spend too much time on that. The final report I have for you, this is a document that we prepare when Extension travels into our office and we compute the property tax bills and get ready to start that process. It just summarizes probably about 200 plus taxing districts into one page. And just outlines where property taxes go in McLean County. The county increase over last year, you can see that. Overall, the increase amounts collected, $36,064,568. We're collecting a little over 9% over the prior year. Total collectible, $431,000. First installment is due on June 4th. So it is coming in very quickly over the next 30 days. It is literally like, it just blows through like a lion. First installment, not only do you have taxpayers that are paying first installment, but many are also paying second installment. So there's just a tremendous amount of activity that's taking place during the first 30 days. Looking down there in the middle that lower section, the majority of the property tax bill goes to this county school districts. And so this section just covers, outlines that, and shows the change over prior year as well. The largest change was actually in one of our smaller districts, but you can see the various changes. The EAV, rate-setting EAV, is now above 5 million, 5 billion. What am I thinking? Why am I like 5 million? 5 billion, 23 million, 59,729. So this is all out on our website. This is kind of information that Tim and I take out, and when we do our public education session, we like to educate taxpayers on where their property taxes are going, that they're staying local, they're not going to federal or state government. You would be surprised how many taxpayers think that their property taxes go somehow to the state or federal government. It also emphasizes that even though the county issues the tax bill, the county receives just a small portion of it. The rest of it goes out to 200 different taxing districts in the county. So, any questions?
I have one. I don't know. So on here, it says McLean County went up, I believe it's 13.3% on the top of this last page. Is that what our budget increased from last year? Because I didn't think it was that much of an increase, but I know it's not exactly apples to apples, but.
That's the tax levy, just the tax levy. This is the tax levy. So the tax levy this year is 13.3% more than the tax that was levied to the taxpayers last year.
Okay. Okay.
Any other comments or questions on the reports?
I do, and I'm just curious,
Yes, sir,
why
Mr.
such an increase on the Blue Ridge School District?
On Blue Ridge School District, because the amount that was billed last year, just a percentage increase over the prior year. I don't, as the county collector, I don't actually see the levies when they're filed. They're filed through the county clerk's office. But just like the county board, the school district, the board determines what their levy, what their need is, and that is what they ask the taxpayers for. So, yeah. The taxpayers this year were asked for $431 million, which is an increase of $36 million over last year. So to say that tax bills increased because of assessments is not entirely accurate. As Mr. Jorzak and I cover in our public education sessions, the property, the taxing districts, they're asking for more. And, the assessment is just the process of dividing that, spreading what all the taxing districts are asking for. So, Unit 5 went up by $16 million. Unit 5 asked the taxpayers for $16 million more than the prior year. So even though assessments went up, the taxing district still asked for a substantial increase. So, yeah.
Thank you. So that could be due to a referendum they passed or something of that nature, is that correct? To increase the levy? If the Blue Ridge School District,
I
voters.
don't know specifically.
No,
I-
but I'm saying
that's
that might
just
be an
not
example
shared. It could
of-
be,
of-
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they could have passed a referendum that would have resulted in, I'm just going to throw this out there. For example, if they were doing a building project and they passed a referendum And then in the process, when they filed their levy, they included a levy for bonds, for bond payments. That could cause that to go up substantially like that.
Thank you.
Final questions today? Ms. McNeil, thank you so much for preparing this document, particularly this back page to break down the property tax stats. I think it's really helpful, especially from some great discussion and some great questions that have come about. So
Yes.
especially for having some new folks on the committee. So I thank you for that. And then just as a reminder for folks on the committee, that presentation that Ms. McNeil was speaking to, that she and Mr. Jorzak do, is actually still available on the county YouTube page. If you've not had an opportunity to check that one out, it might be helpful as we come into future meetings, talking a little bit more about the taxes coming in. Okay, awesome. Ms. McNeil, we can move on to anything to be presented for information this evening from your department. Oh, we didn't vote, did we? That would be helpful to do. So let's go ahead and, before we do that, Ms. McNeil, let's go with 4C1B, the accept and place on file the county treasurer's monthly report. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries, which now gives us the opportunity to hear from you with any other information to be presented tonight.
No, we're good. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you.
And please come, contact me anytime you want to discuss anything about my reports. And Tim and I, we truly do hope you will come to our public education sessions, even if you have attended before. It's a great way to reach out to the constituents in your area. A lot of times, like when we go out to Leroy, the county board member in that area would attend and be there to just help communicate. So, yeah.
What's the timing of those, when you normally conduct those sessions, roughly?
Yep. Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Jorzak.
So we usually conduct those, they coincide with when assessment notices go out. So the notices will go out beginning in early to mid-August, and that's generally when we'll do the first one. And I think we did 6 of them last year, and we try to scatter them throughout the county to make sure everybody has equal opportunity to get to one. But they usually run from, we'll say, mid to late August through early October.
And we do that because when those assessment notices go out, that's when they have that 30-day window to appeal their assessment. So Tim's session is going to be fresh in their minds. But he also, when they come, they also have a number of handouts. So in case somebody's wanting to appeal an assessment, apply for an exemption, pretty much at this point in time, a lot of that is done. I mean, a taxpayer cannot appeal an assessment for 2024 payable 2025. But in the fall, that's when the opportunity for them to appeal is. So that's why we do our sessions at that time.
Okay. Thank you very much. And again, thanks to the committee for some great questions this evening on this matter. This takes us on to item number 4D, where we welcome our Director of Animal Control, Ms. Thompson. Welcome, Ms. Thompson. Looks like we have a couple action items for you this evening. So 4D1A is the request approval of the agreement for animal control shelter services with the City of Bloomington. I'd have a motion to put this one on the floor. Motion by Member Loeffler, second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Ms. Thompson, over to you for any information to share.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate these opportunities, and it's so nice outside. I'll try to condense my memo here. I'm submitting this memorandum to request your approval to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Bloomington for animal control services and the animal control warden services. The objective of these agreements is to protect the community, help prevent the spread of rabies, assist with the removal of stray animals in certain circumstances, and assist the municipality with animal control services and sheltering as outlined in the recommended agreements, and I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions for Ms. Thompson prior to the vote? We have a question from Member Fagan.
Yes, thank you for coming. these amounts that the city is going to be paying for the services, the, I assume that you will feel that these are sufficient to cover the time and materials that would be used in fulfilling these duties, is that correct?
If I could turn it over to Cassie. Sorry, thank you.
Chair Lehman, may I?
Oh, yes, please, Administrator Taylor, thank you.
So to give an assist to Marshall, these are negotiated figures, so they do not cover 100% of our costs, but they are negotiated with the city of Bloomington, and over multiple years, we are hoping to get to a point where we are covering our costs. But this is a great step in the right direction. We also had some other negotiated items within the contract that were asks that we did receive from the city during those sessions.
And I see there's built-in increases. I like that.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Additional comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, putting 4D1A, the request approval of the agreement for the animal control shelter services with the city of Bloomington. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. 4D1B, this one is the request approval of the agreement with the animal warden services for the city of Bloomington. Might I have a motion? A motion by Rosamond Mendoza, a second by Member Fagan. Ms. Thompson, over to you for any additional information with this one about warden services.
Warden services go right along with our sheltering agreement, so I think these are great programs that provide a lot of support and safety to the community, and we see a lot of good things that come out of these agreements, and I appreciate your consideration for moving forward.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Comments or questions from the committee regarding warden services? Seeing none. 4D1B, the request approval of the agreement with animal control warden services for the city of Bloomington. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next up with 4D2 is items to be presented for information. Ms. Thompson, would love to hear a little bit about your monthly report.
So we had a very exciting month with animal control. We had some very positive collaborations with looking forward to seeing how we can find spay-neuter resources and incentives. So we're just exploring those with our rescues and community partners. So I'm excited about those adventures. The Wishbone Canine Rescue Clinic for vaccination for rabies and microchip went really well. We did a lot of vaccinations and microchipping and got to interface with a positive way with the community. I was able to attend a FEMA training and learned a lot of new things that certainly wanted to look at in the future. And animals have been getting adopted and transferred. We're looking forward to starting the process of getting ready to look to the big move, so the new facility. And staff had an exciting Friday. We got to go over and walk around and go into the facility and see the office spaces, see the places where the animals would be housed, and it was just a really special moment. And staff is really excited about the potential for what we're going to do moving forward in the future. So I'm looking forward to that big move. Happy to answer any questions about the report.
Very exciting. Any questions from the report? All right, seeing none, thank you so very much. And as always, looking forward to continuing to see that progress on the facility. Excited that you all got a chance to experience that last week.
It was fun. They were just giddy happy. It was really fun to see that. So
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 4E, where we welcome any information from our county auditor, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Anderson's not with us this evening and has no items to be presented for action. We do have item to be presented for information. As it was indicated last month, we would have the quarterly report. Administration, do we have anything to share on the quarterly report? Has that been prepared or sent out for the committee?
We did not receive the quarterly report in administration in order to disseminate.
Okay, thank you very much. So knowing that we have perhaps a quarterly report yet to come, hopefully we'll have the opportunity to engage with that next month and perhaps get to see Ms. Anderson with that. Just as a point of curiosity, so with the quarterly report, it's something that we've kind of received in a quasi-regular fashion. Is that something that is a kind of a nice to have as presented to the committee, or is that more so something that we should be expecting kind of like clockwork throughout the course of the year? So is that a regular business function, or is that a kind of an amenity, if you will?
So I would say both. I would say
Okay.
it's nice to have, as a committee, a quarterly report received by the auditor, so you know the status of county government and where we are with those expenditures, but it is also a statutory requirement of the auditor as part of her duties as a county auditor, and so it is a requirement by statute that we receive those.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. So
Does that requirement, the statute, does it say the days is like a 30 days, 45 days, or any timeline from the end of the quarter when it's supposed to be due?
It does not.
Does not, okay.
I would have to double check, but I don't believe so.
thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from the committee regarding any information from the county auditor before we proceed? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and carry on to item 4F, where we have a host of action items brought to us by our county administrator, Ms. Taylor. So 4F1A, our first item, is a request approval of a Class C raffle application. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? We have a motion by Member Kloss. I see a second by Member Fagan. Looks like a pretty standard Class C raffle application, but Administrator Taylor would love to hear any additional information you have to share.
Chair Lehman, you are absolutely correct. This is the standard application from the VFW. This is their Queen of Hearts raffle, and they are very active with that raffle. So this is covering the period between May 1st of 2025 through April 30th of 26, and so I'm guessing somebody won in the first 5 months of the year.
Rather exciting for the winner. Thank you very much for the information. Any comments or questions from the committee on the raffle license? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and vote on 4F1A. That's that request approval of the Class C raffle application. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. 4F1B is the request approval of a resolution amending the full-time equivalent positions resolution for 2025 for the Highway Department. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? We have a motion by Member Farley and a second by Member Kloss. Administrator Taylor, is there anything that you would like to share, or should we perhaps invoke the expertise from Jerry, who's also here?
Well, I will start out, and I appreciate Mr. Jerry Stokes being here in case there's something that he would like to add or you have additional questions for him. But this is a change to the FTE resolution, adjusting those civil engineer positions, and this is to meet the needs, the current needs of the department. This issue of filling vacancies and finding appropriate engineering staff for civil engineer work at the Highway Department is something that we discuss frequently within the Land Use and Transportation Committee, and it has the support of that committee, but it comes to you through Finance to make the official change to the resolution.
Mr. Stokes, any additional information you'd like to share?
I'll just add that when we did the budget process last year, we had 2 civil engineer ones on staff, and then we had a vacant civil engineer 1 position. The 2 civil engineers left, and we do have a candidate that's going to be starting on Monday for one of these civil engineer 2 positions if they get approved.
Fantastic. Thank you for that additional information. Comments or questions from the committee for Mr. Stokes or Ms. Taylor? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and put 4F1B, the request approval of the resolution amending that full-time equivalent position for the Highway Department. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to 4F1C, the request approval of a resolution establishing the budget policy for the fiscal year 2026. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor? Motion by member Farley and a second by member Fagan. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you, Chair Lehman. This is the annual request to establish our budget policy for the fiscal year and get started on our budget for next year. So we did have some notable changes in this year. In addition to updating all the dates, we did actually have a change to the fund balance, revising that to a minimum fund balance equal to 3 months of the county's total combined annual budget. And then that's one request. And then we did update the Schedule A language to address some conversion lockout dates related to the county's transition during our ERP sessions. So the county is in the midst. We've started, we're about 2 months into a very in-depth effort to update our enterprise resource planning software. So that's ERP.
Thank you very much, Administrator Taylor. Any comments or questions from the committee surrounding our budget policy? Okay. All right, seeing no questions, let's go ahead and vote on 4F1C, the request approval of the resolution establishing the budget policy for fiscal year 2026. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. 4F1D is our request approval of Schedule A, calendar for preparation for the fiscal year 2026 budget, 5-year capital improvement budget, and recommended 3-year budget. Might I have a motion? Motion by member Leffler, second by member Roseman Mendoza. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. This follows the resolution that you just passed. This is the Schedule A with the calendar for the preparation of that work for both the budget and the 5-year capital improvement budget. This includes all the requirements and meetings throughout the year that we conduct with departments as well as the board.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the committee? I do just want to overly clarify one piece. So with the segment that we had talked about before with the calendar adjustment regarding the ERP pieces, we definitely want to highlight and make sure that any budgetary questions, any budgetary adjustments, suggestions, all those type of things are absolutely made earlier, because there is time that is locked out and we are not trying to make any adjustments on the fly this year. We get everything in a really great amount of time ahead of time. And if we participate in committee, engage with our constituents, we should be able to stay on time without a hitch. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. And we will have a new system in place in November. It's just when you have a software conversion, there are some unknowns. And so we would want to complete as much of that work and have that finalized budget ready to go for the November cycle, if at all possible.
Excellent. We'll give plenty of awareness ahead of time for timelines and such. But, any additional comments or questions on this item before we put it to a vote? All right. 4F1D is that request approval, Schedule A calendar preparation for the fiscal year 2026 budget, capital improvement budget, and recommended 3-year budget. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. 4F1E is the request approval of a resolution for the McLean County Board authorizing the trustee to conduct the sale of a real property held in trust. I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion. Motion by member Farley and a second by member Fagan. Administrator Taylor, would love to hear a little bit more about this rather unique situation.
Thank you. It is a rather unique situation. So I tried to kind of capture that a little bit in the memo, and I want to give some thanks to Don Rude, who worked with the trustee on this effort and helped to prepare the resolution. So we were the recipients of funds from a trust that was established in the 50s, Ms. Emily Baker, and over the years things have changed with the proceeds that were being received from the leasing of the farmland. And so in speaking to the trustee and speaking with the other recipient or beneficiary of these funds, there were requests made of the county to make some changes to that. And one of those requests was to be able to sell this parcel of farmland that is located within Livingston County, and then to invest the proceeds. Well, the trustee would then invest the proceeds of that. And so instead of getting amount of funds from the trust from leased land, we would be getting an amount from investments. And so this is the first part of that effort, which would allow the trustee to, well, the county board would approve the sale of that property, and then it allows the trustee to go to court and conduct any of the appropriate filings and paperwork that is necessary for that effort that is in trust. And I do have Mr. Root here to explain it in legal terms, should you want a more in-depth explanation.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Administrator Taylor. And thank you for being on hand, Mr. Rude. I see we probably have a question from Mr.
I do have a
Klaus.
question.
Yeah.
Do we get a distribution today, like every year or whatever from this? And
Yes.
do you remember roughly how much it is or whatever?
I think the last one I saw, and I can't recall, I think the last one was something like $19,000. But it seems like it's been a bit sporadic because they've had difficulty meeting their IRS obligations because it is considered a private foundation
Right.
under the IRS rules.
Right, and I saw that they were having problems. I was just curious, did they share more of the financials? Did you, I mean, I'm trying to understand in my head 100 acres of how that's not like panning out, so it's weird.
Yeah, as far as the deep financial info, we didn't get a ton of that. The initial request was made, I think, in 2023 by the American Cancer Society to actually sell the land and then dissolve the trust because it wasn't meeting the IRS requirements. The trustee agreed that it would be in the best interest of the beneficiaries to sell the land and then reinvest the proceeds to generate greater income, but they didn't think it was in the best interest of us to actually dissolve the trust altogether. So this is the path forward that the trustee feels is in the best interest of us as well as the American Cancer Society.
Right, okay, thanks.
Additional comments or questions for Mr. Reed or Ms. Taylor? Yeah, Member Fagan.
Just a comment, basically, I guess. You know, it seems like it's an opportunity. This was a tremendous gift initially, and this is an opportunity to continue that for, you know, into perpetuity for now, instead of dispersing real money. And I know once you break a 50, it's gone. You know, you can keep it in your wallet for a month, but once you break it, it's gone. So it seems like a good idea to just change the basis of the trust from land to real money. I applaud that thought, so.
Thank you, Member Fagan. Final questions? Before we go ahead and put it to a vote, item number 4F1E is the request approval of the resolution of the McLean County Board authorizing the trustee to conduct the sale of real property held in trust. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Which brings us to item 4F1F. This is the request approval of administration salary adjustments in the Sheriff's Department per Code 108. This was distributed under separate cover and would perhaps go into closed session. Should there be any comments or questions?
Right, so you would take a motion and a second on the action item itself, And then if there was a request to go into closed session, we would have a second to go into closed session and come out. I will add that this was just voted on at the Justice Committee prior to this meeting and passed.
Thank you, Administrator Taylor. When we go ahead and take a motion to put it on the floor, we've got a motion by Member Leffler, a second by Member Fagan. And then, now that we have that motion, do we have a need to go into closed session this evening? Try again? No? Okay. Then, without the need to go into closed session, we'll go ahead and put 4-1F 4F1F, the request approval of administration salary adjustments in the Sheriff's Department per Code 108. To a vote, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on takes us to 4F2, Administrator Taylor. Any other items to be presented for information this evening?
I do have one extra item to present. We will be releasing an RFP at the end of this week for strategic planning services for the county. This is something new. And one of the items that Chair Johnston wanted included in that RFP scope of work was looking at process improvement efforts by departments and the county as a whole. And so I look forward to that, and I think there will be members of this committee that will also look forward to that.
Thank you very much for that update, Administrator Taylor. Any questions or comments for Administrator Taylor in the last bits of information presented? All right, carrying on to item number 5, that's our other business and communication, reminding you that our next meeting is June 4th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Any additional notes from the committee? Seeing none, I'll say thank you for your service to the county. Thank you, everyone, and this meeting is adjourned.